Super coach tabs on my phone at dawn, scrolling through the carnage, what went wrong? Grammar solar steady, rookies on the rise, mid-prices tempting me, danger in disguise. Big J calling from the couch, mate, check your side. Joe bragging about a loophole, riding that tide, we're trading in our hopes like stocks on a screen, chasing that price rise, living the dream. We're the center bounds crew, hey! Whistle blows, we're riding it through. From goals and behinds to the last upgrade, greatest game in the world, that's how we're made. From a pig in the guts to the bench warmer blues, every week we're breaking the rules, they fell in our veins, yeah, it's all we do. We're the center bounds crew. Got duds on the park, can't win a hard ball, need a downgrade, target answer that call, possessions piling up, my captain's on fire, vice loop lightning, sparks through the wire, yeah. Trade plan scribbled on the back of a bill, one more sideways move, I swear I'll sit still, but the siren hits Friday, logic is gone, mate, just push and go on. Who you backing in, who you backing in, who you backing in, yeah. Who you letting go, one more risky move, then we steal the show. We're the center bounds crew, hey! Whistle blows, we're riding it through. From goals and behinds to the last upgrade, greatest game in the world, that's how we're made. From a pig in the guts to the bench warmer blues, every week we're breaking the rules, they fell in our veins, yeah, it's all we do. We're the center bounds crew. We're the center bounds crew. Oh yeah, the center bounds crew. The center bounds crew. The center bounds crew.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome to this Friday episode. I guess kind of Friday episode or Friday teams. Yeah, we'll figure out a nice intro for that. Tell you what, as Dumb or Dummy says here, great little tune, mate. I'm still going with it. I love it. Maybe in 6 months we'll get a bit annoyed and someone else will come out with something different. But for right now, this is us. Welcome to the Centre Bounce crew, everyone. And yeah, nice to talk some footy. I've been a little bit cheeky this week compared to how I was last week. And I kind of noticed that we've got a couple of outs. One who could be really detrimental to a lot of teams. And one who I think he'll be back next week after West Coast gets slaughtered. But if it wasn't best 18, now everyone's got a cheeky loophole. So there you go. Hope you're doing well. Jump on the chat. Say hello, everyone. How you going, Alex? If you had to own one, who would you pick, Jackson or Richards? Well, I would pick Luke Jackson. And I'm annoyed that I still have Ed Richards in my team. Not that I've got him in my team, but that I picked him over Bontempelli. Luke Jackson looks like, at least from the way that they played. Let me quickly pull up footy scores and you can have a bit of a look. Let me do this for you. 1 second, boys and girls. There I am. Oh, let's do it up the top because then you can see me and the questions at the same time. If we head over to round one for Freo, it looked like, where's Sean Darcy? So Sean Darcy only played the 45% game time. So it wasn't even like how we saw in the preseason with Cox running around, that Cox was main ruck the whole time and then Jackson was in there and doing stuff. It really was a case of Darcy barely playing and then Jackson taking the majority of the time. So if you kind of look at Jackson as being, hey, now this guy's solo ruck, he's scoring big numbers. He's now solo ruck. So, yeah, it's something to look at it that way, I think. But I would be very happy putting him in. I think Ed Richards has a bye. Jackson doesn't. So at least you've got extra coverage there. And I feel like Luke Jackson could easily get to about that 650K mark, which he'll do in a couple of weeks if he keeps up with these 125 scores. And he ends up, oh no, it's not even 125. Let me move it across. If he keeps up with these 142 scores and ends up being almost unobtainable for a lot of us. And it's a reason why I've been saying, maybe don't grab a Sarong if you can, like if you're forced to. But if you can get some of these players now and not have to stress about trying to bring them in later, because Luke Jackson at 620K, let's pretend 630 or 640K, is now like three decent rookies off your bench or off field, or a decent rookie and a really good mid-pricer to his price. So it ends up being someone that became a little bit less obtainable. And if we look at it, right, 18 contested possessions, fantastic. 10 clearances, but he only went at 59%. It wasn't like he went like 90% and still got a 140. There's room to grow with this kind of player. And this week's going to be a real challenge for him with Max gone. But if he keeps up with it, then, hey, it's going to be a bit hard to get in. Up the Hawkers, mate. I tipped Hawthorn. Very, very happy. Gunston for the Coleman. Yeah, I mean, if we have a quick squiz over at the Swans versus Hawks, Gunston's kicked another 4. How many is that in a row? Let's quickly check. Opening round. He goes and kicks. Not many. Kicks 4 opening round. What am I saying? Not many. And then round 1, he kicks. Where are you? Kicks 5, so that's 9. And then this week, where are you, Gunston? Kicks another 4. So I'm not sure what Brisbane gave up. What Hawthorn gave up to get him back from Brisbane, but mate, definitely worth it, and a real strength in your forward line, even at the age that he's at. G'day, Big J. What's your thoughts on Young to Fonte, or would you downgrade to Murdoch? Look, I'm not a huge fan, Bailey, of spending too many trades in each position. Though in saying that, we do have 40 trades, right? So if you were messing around with D4 all the time, and you just kept mid-pricer to mid-pricer to mid-pricer, okay, it's not great. But I don't mind the Young to Fonte pick. Fonte has 2 price rises, potentially gets close to 350, 400K. And then him plus a rookie on the bench equals a primo. So I think he's going to be good. Definitely one to track, and he could be one of those players that if you didn't get on him now, not that you're going to bring him in later, but you really wish you brought him in now, because he'll end up being 200K more expensive than when he first started potentially. So he's got a couple of good matchups this week. They are playing the Saints at home, so I think he'll do quite well. Might do well next week. And then, hey, presto. Before I kind of jump into a few more of your questions and stuff, let's just check out the team lineups. We went through, Thursday's is finished already. Friday, no real changes. From yesterday's, at least. Saturday, no real changes. Saturday's there, no real changes. Sunday, yeah, it's very, very interesting. And I wonder if Jack Lukosius ends up affecting Todd Marshall in any way, or if they're going to play him forward. Let's have a bit of a look. Isaac Kako's out. Archer May's been omitted, which I feel that's a little bit harsh. I think he actually did okay last week. I believe he kicked a goal or 2. But yeah, I'm not Brad Scott, happily enough. Luco, Mead, and Jordan Sweet in. Vicentini, Lord, and Lockie Jones out. And something that we had kind of said was, we thought it might have been Sweet with Vicentini, but now it's Vicentini by himself. Now it's Jordan Sweet by himself. So those people that went Dante R1 or Dante in flex, you might be scrambling to change your teams a little bit. It's not great. I'm not sure if he comes back either. He did get bashed in by Cherry. I don't think he was the worst player on field, but they've obviously that's it for him today. So, yeah. Sweet versus Blackiston, cool. It actually makes the Blackiston pick not as bad in my eyes as what potentially we thought. Blackiston's there, and Butters versus Parrish, Drew versus Merritt, as we know. Jack Watkins gets another game. So people who had him in round 1, congratulations, he's kept going. McKinley, who a few people said, hey, they should drop, is still playing as well. And potentially Dyson Sharp is still playing too. So A lot of our benches now have one dead player in the back line. We'll talk about Lindsay, but Watkins, maybe not. But at least we get to keep Sharp for another week. And I didn't think he was the worst player either. Kicked 2 goals, did okay, just low tog. And if we get him DPP, great. If we can get him, like, offload him at 250K, I'm happy with that. Let's head over to the north. Oh, well, let's have a look. So where's Luco playing? Horn Francis in the forward line. Whitlock, I think, will ruck, again, similar to how we did last week. Todd Marshall's still backline, which is great. And then Lukosius is there. So maybe Lukosius plays forward. For some reason, I've got it in my head, Lukosius plays backline. I must be incorrect. Heading over to North Melbourne, Tim Kelly, Baker, and Harry Edwards in. So no Schoenberg. I know that he was named. And if I am looking a little bit red, guys, it's because I went outside today and I got a bit sunburned. Great. Lindsay out, which is the major one. It doesn't really matter too much in best 18. You'd assume that he's back at some point as well. But it just sucks that he's out plus Marrick's out. Like, I thought Marrick was going to be out. Isn't the greatest player. And then you guys heard Mr. Motorbike too. Tom Cole's out as well. So 3 backline players, really. Says a lot about the game. Who's going to be taking their kick out? So it's Flynn versus Cherry, Reed versus LDU, McCarthy versus Sheasel. Tom Powell still in the middle. Milan Murdoch is going to be a gun. No changes for North Melbourne, which is fantastic. Kickouts for them. Tyler Young, cool. Baker looks to maybe have come in and just stomped and said, nah, sorry, mate, I'm going to be there. So, yeah. Both Willem Dersma and Cooper Duff Tyler keeping their spots. Is Dersma named or am I just crazy? Oh, yeah, cool. Both of them keeping their spots. Dev Rob in the midfield on the wing. So, there. And Crimson saying here, Duggan took a lot of the kickouts. There you go. So, nice. And I think StreamYard, maybe we'll have to figure it out, but I think StreamYard may have changed some of their formatting. So we'll kind of see what's up as to that. We'll see how it goes. Alrighty, let's bust into some of your questions, and then we'll have a look at my team and figure out what I need to do because I am not happy. Alrighty. Quite stuck on who to see between Track, Anderson, and Shees. Have the VC on Bont. Look, I'm really favoured. Like, I really, really like going for players who are on a really big hot streak. I don't think there's going to be anyone in that Richmond team that's going to be able to stop Tracker, really. And you've got the sample size of him going 170 in round 0 and then 160 last week or 150. So I think you could very, very happily go Bont into Petrarca and you would not be annoyed. It's expected that both of them are going to go really big, or Bont going big tonight, Petrarca going big a couple of days later. So I'm happy. I'm going VC Track into Sheasel. So, yeah, that just shows you kind of what I expect his level of scoring to be. Lindsay dropped. That's a curveball. Gone now, and I used the DPP and got in Marshall. Cool. I wouldn't trade him, Daniel, to be honest. I think he'll come back very, very quickly. Low break even. It might just be, hey, he pulled up a little bit sore from the game. Highly touted player. They need to play the kids. I really don't think he's going to be that much trouble. At the very least as well, maybe I'm thinking a little bit far into this, but if we go to the fixture and we have a look at West Coast, if he is long-term out, hypothetically, right? If he's long-term out, West Coast after the bye rounds, which is after round 4, they play Saturday night, or Saturday afternoon at least. Sunday, Saturday, bye round, and then it's 2-bit TBC, right? So every single one of their games is a Sunday or a late Saturday. I don't think that he would be the worst loophole that you can have in your team, especially with a lot of us having a Zach Alinsky and things like that. So Todd Marshall, you need him. Like Todd Marshall, 100%. You probably should have started him. You need him in your team. but I don't think that getting rid of Lindsay potentially is the call to make. If you can do something else to get Marshall in, it's probably better for you. Hey, Big J, thoughts on Windsor down to a rookie and Richards up to Bont, or just ride the roller coaster? Look, I think we can wait a week on Windsor. It really just depends on what your plans are next week. We all need Murdoch and we probably need Cook. Yes, both have only played one game, but I think both are going to be really good. And I would hate for you to have to be forced to make a third trade by not picking one of those guys this week. And that's kind of the mindset that I'm in a little bit as well. In saying that, though, I think we can hold Windsor. I'm struggling to figure out what I'm going to do this week. It could just be holding Oliver, doing nothing. It could be going someone to Murdoch if I want to do that. But for me, it's more a case of I think I need to set myself up for next week. Hey, there you go. See, it's changed. Hey, you guys seen that? It's just completely changed. There you go. I need to figure out what I'm going to do. And there's Joe. How you going, Joe?
Hey, Jez. G'day, everybody.
It's really a case of, can you hold out one more week? Fantastic. Grab Bont grab Bont week 4. Set yourself up so you can get Bont in if you're desperate for him week 4. But I think Ed Richards is probably going to be around the keeper mark, and it feels like a bit of a wasted trade. And if it's a Bont's only going to cost you 20K more, you can do it now, and you might be up 50K, 50 points ahead potentially if they do what they did again. We don't have a crystal ball. We can't decide what's going to happen. If you want to do it, fantastic. But my brain saying, hey, figure yourself out. I think Windsor's going to be okay. His first half of the game was decent. I think Richards potentially could be a keeper for the whole year in our midfields. We just need to get through what is the storm right now, and then come round 4. That's it. So kind of my opinion a little bit. Joe, are you a favourite of the throw Bont at Richards and upgrade?
No. I think with Richards, if he's the number 1 mid or number 2 mid even at the Dogs, he's guaranteed to go around 120. I think that means that he is.
Last week wasn't great.
Yeah, last week wasn't great, but I mean they smashed the Giants, and it was all going to Bont essentially. So, but I think in the long run, if he maintains this role of being the number 1 midfielder at the Bulldogs, he will be the top 8 to 10 caliber midfielder. So I wouldn't trade him out personally. I'd be just happy to pick him, and I think we have to temper our expectations for some of these players. Not everyone is the Bont, or not everyone is Nick Dacos. You might say not everyone is Zach Butters, but even Zach Butters, who has been an absolute lock in everybody's team,
only scored 94.
Only scored 94. You know what I mean? So I think we need to temper our expectations and understand that it is a long season. It is a long year, and the best players will show that they're the best players, not at the start of the year. The best players show that the best when others around them are inconsistent, when others around them are getting tired, and they will get tired because the game is now more of a running transition game than ever before. And I called it in the pre-season. I said, brace yourselves with the way the game is being played. There's going to be a lot more thrashings. And the Dogs love to thrash players, love to thrash teams. So I wouldn't be worried about Ed Richards. Ed Richards is a great pick. You should be happy you started him. He is going to be probably a bit of a pod, and you can always get Bont a bit later. His break-even's 127, and then he's got the bye next week. So
maybe round 4 if you're desperate for Bont, get him round 4. Yeah, that's all right. No dramas there. Hopefully the outside noise isn't too crazy for you guys. Let's go Cherry or Jackson. Look, Jackson versus Gorn, I think, is going to be a fun matchup to watch, but Cherry versus Matt Flynn is going to be a worse matchup. So I do like the Cherry pick. He is a bit more expensive, obviously, but you can always pivot Cherry down. And I think Cherry's kind of shown us from what his scoring was last week. Even if he doesn't get tap outs, he can still do really well. Yes, he beat up on Vicentini, but the guy only had 16 tap outs and he's still got 16 contested possessions, Joe. Like, he taps it down to the other players of the opposite team or waits for them to get the ball and then just, let's just tackle everybody. So I think he's kind of adapted a little bit to the way the game's played and understands, cool, maybe I won't get a lot of hit outs at the moment, but how do I still be really impactful on field? And that's the pick. Jackson, we spoke about him a little bit before. Grab him if you want. I think he's still going to be top 4 if they're playing the way that they're currently playing, which is basically making him almost solo ruck and Sean Darcy just there for shits and giggles. But yeah, it's hard to go past Cherry with like his next kind of run of players coming up. And this is why we all kind of considered him at the start of the season before round 0 and some of the changes happened. So yeah.
I'm convinced that Tristan Sherry plays Supercoach or knows how Supercoach works.
Sucked us all in.
Because of the way he plays, like as you say, it's like he's not the one who wants to go for the ball. He waits for the opposition to get the ball so that he can tackle them, so that he can have another ruck contest to maybe get another hit out. Like it's almost like a rinse and repeat. This guy knows how the system works and tries to manufacture points for himself. So I'm kind of happy that I have him. And now that I've added Tim English, I'm sort of pretty content with my ruck line finished for the year, set and forget.
Yeah, your team's very nice. Traded Young, but may reverse it. I'm still unsure if I want to hold him. Look, my thing with Hayden Young, and we'll get through everyone's questions. I'll figure out what I'm going to do with my team. My thing with Hayden Young is, yes, he's been ruled out from this week, but I don't know if we've actually been given a proper injury report from him either.
We know it's hammy related.
Yeah, it's hammy related, but if it's more than 1 week, I think you're really hamstringing yourself a little bit, Joe. Because we all need Murdoch and we all need Cook. So I don't think keeping that 400K actually gives you any benefits at all. At a very least, in a couple of weeks, let's pretend round 4 or 5, if all you do is Murdoch down and like Hayden Young to Murdoch, you've now got 300K that you can upgrade a Buderick to whoever you want in your forward line or on flex, potentially a ruckman or a midfielder that you want, that kind of thing. And Murdoch could end up getting close, maybe not close to what Hayden Young was, but at least making an extra 100K. If it was a guaranteed, like, hey, 1 week suspension, there's credence to say, okay, I'm not going to trade him. But right now, it feels like it's really like, I don't know what it is. Let me quickly see if I can find it on here.
I think he said he had, I think it was a hammy. I'm not sure if it was a hammy strain or if it was hammy tightness.
No, it's hamstring strain. It's come out as. So I think that's a little bit more serious. I think hamstring strain.
It is.
Than hamstring tightness. So it could be 2 or 3 weeks, and I think that may end up affecting you a little bit more than getting a really good downgrade target, grabbing a must-have rookie, and then like splurging the cash somewhere else. Because, you know, at least for the fact like Murdoch from his 110 last week could be a half decent on-field option. So, yeah.
Even if he stays, even if he comes back, sorry to interrupt, Jez, like even if he comes back and it's only a 2-weeker and not a 3-weeker, realistically, you saw what happened. He was parked in the forward line in the last quarter. They're not going to give him. I highly doubt they're going to give him bulk minutes, and that was the concern with starting him. Was he might have managed minutes because of his injury. Now he's got another injury that he has, and it's a soft tissue one at that. There is almost no doubt that when he returns, they're going to be cautious with him because he's a really important commodity for them. So even if he plays, he could have a much worse role playing more forward. Yeah, all right, you might get DPP, but his scoring will substantially decrease compared to what we know that his regular output could be. And at his price, it's not like he's cheap. He's cheap compared to what he can score. But if he's not playing that role that scores well, then if anything, he becomes overpriced in that deep forward role. So I reckon it's better to trade him, use the money, fix where you need to fix, get the people that you missed out on, and live life to the fullest.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Get the money out, as Joe says. The thing with the Hayden Young as well is that it was his opposite leg. So we know Hayden Young's had leg injuries for a while, but this strain was actually on the leg that he didn't get operations on. So now he's injuring both legs. I don't know. He could be out for a more longer period of time, or they may even say, "Oh, you're back, but we don't want to risk it. So you're going to play through the VFL for a little while." What we'll see. Hold Young or trade to Miller or Houston next round. What are we doing with Lindsay? I think Lindsay's a fair hold. I did say that post round 4, when we don't have best 18s, he's the perfect loophole. I think he'll come back anyway, so he'll be fine. There's not really defender rookies that we desperately need, so it's not like there's a Murdoch that we can pivot like Lindsay to. I think he'll be fine, and I personally wouldn't get Miller. I think you can go Young down to a rookie and bank the cash, or like maybe to a Parrish if you don't have him, or a I think Connor McDonald's just gone up in price, so we can't touch him anyway. But yeah, I wouldn't be going injury-prone players. I think Houston's a little bit different because at least he's come back. He's had a year in the team. He's played enough, and it looks like he's taking a lot of kick-ins. But no way you are going to tell me I'm going to put Wayne Miller in my team. Like, you would have to pay me real money for me to put Wayne Miller in my team, enough that I can deal with the pain of not having a good Supercoach team for a few weeks. Like, it is rough. Tips for tonight, I think I picked doggies, I think. Did you pick doggies as well, Joe?
Yeah, I have. But I'm not going to say never in relation to Wayne Miller. If that role persists again this week, that the guy is the number one kick-in taker. He took 7 kick-ins last week. If he comes out again and he has another 7 kick-ins, then it cements the role that he's got. And I know the guy's a bit injury prone, but he played every game last year. So he's starting to build. I'm not altogether against it, because I know we've owned Dane Zorko. You know, even though that guy used to be perennially injured. This guy was always having an injury. So, but then obviously he started getting those needling done. He started getting needling done on his calves, and all of a sudden he was playing every week, and he was a great primo for us. So I'm not altogether ruling out Wayne Miller. I just think there's no need to jump on him this week, considering that he's not on the bubble. Get your extra sample size, get the extra data, have a look. Maybe Worrell is the better pick, but you won't know until you see them play tonight. You're not under any obligation to pull the trigger on Young right now to get those guys. I reckon watch the game tonight, and hey, you never know. We might do a live watch along for that if you guys want it. Happy to do a live watch along tonight for this game. If you guys, if there's enough interest for it, and then you can make the call next week.
No, fair enough. Anyone else see the stuff on Rob? Let me see. Just wait. If he's not a late in tonight, he'll play next week. Get ready if you've got McAndrew at R2 or to pivot, or at least plan with best 18. Interesting. I didn't think that he would be up for it, period. But apparently he might be getting there. So we'll see. Cheapy rucks might be dead, Joe, and then we go to the more expensive ones. We'll see what happens.
Well, I've got English this week, which I'm pretty happy about.
That's it,
and even if Rob is named, you know, it could be a situation of the double ruck. We're seeing a lot more, right, of teams doing double ruck. Obviously,
yes.
Meek and Reeves, we saw that work. You know, we're going to see on Sunday, Sweet and Byzantine.
No, you miss out on you didn't get the news, Joe. So this week Friday. Sorry, so it's obviously Friday now. This week Sunday, there's a couple of axings that have happened. Josh Lindsay is out, but one Dante Vicentini has been dropped, Joe.
Oh.
He got in the coach came up to him and said, "Mate, you got smashed by Cherry. Get in the bin, Dante Vicentini." So there you go. He's not playing, which is interesting.
So it's not double ruck.
No, it's just Jordan Sweet.
Oh, do I get my boy Blackiston again then?
Well, this is something that I was saying to the guys before. Was just, hey, with the Jordan Sweet news, it does make a Blackiston hold a little bit more tempting. But I think a lot of people are being like, hey, Fonte looks like he's doing really well. And, you know, if you want to jump off a pick, then it's okay to do that. So maybe you have to have a little bit of a play around with your team, Joe, if it doesn't affect too much what happens in the Adelaide Bulldogs game.
Well, I can trade out Xavier Lindsay instead.
Yeah. If you can find a link for what the coach actually said, I'd be very happy to have a look at it. Hawks have a good defense. Yep. And if Mark's in, Mark would be very happy that I told him don't pick Nick Watson, because Mark was super keen on the Nick Watson and he only ended up scoring about 50 points in Supercoach. And he got a bottle. Did you see the bottle to the head, Joe?
I did.
Someone threw a Coke can at Nick Watson. There you go.
It was a bottle. It was a legit bottle, and it was the original Coca-Cola, not even Coke Zero. So unbelievable. The guy was drinking all that sugar. No chill.
Yeah. So yeah, very very happy. Well, not happy that it happened, but Mark will be very happy. Duggan, yeah, we did that already. If you had the luxury trade, would you trade Richards to Jackson?
No.
I the only way I could see it happening is if in my team, somehow McAndrew got dropped, that would give me the option to potentially have a player on the buy being like, hey, mate, you've got some spare money. Your ruckman's gone. Like, I've got a fantastic ruck run coming up. Maybe that might be an option. But I think even like, I don't love Sam Walsh. I'm not a big fan of Ed Richards. They're both in my team at the moment. But I'm somewhat being like, hey, maybe keeping these guys for a couple of weeks longer isn't the worst thing than spending all my trades right at the moment. I think Lindsay will be back.
This isn't the time. This isn't the time for luxury trades.
Yeah, just navigate.
This isn't the time for luxury trades. Yeah, no, luxury trades are for when your team is being filled out more and you just want to improve the premiums that you've got. I think what we should be prioritizing for first and foremost is, do you have any failed picks and do you have all the cash gen? That's what you're doing now. If Richards is not a fail and he is not a fail, don't trade him out. Same thing with, you might be a little bit disappointed with Sam Walsh, but it's not a failed pick because the role is there. He's got the role, he's got the CBAs, and he's fit. So I personally think now is not necessarily the time for luxury. It's about optimizing the team so that it's ready to progress for the rest of the season. Once you start filling out your team, and you're noticing, all right, my premium at M8 is averaging 105. That's not quite good enough. I can do better. I want the guy averaging 115. That is a form of a luxury trade where you're trading out a primo for another primo. But it's a long season, and I know 40 trades might seem like a lot, but I guarantee you, when you've got no trades left, you're going to wish you could spend real money to get an extra trade.
Yeah, no, fair enough. And that's why I'm a little bit adverse of spending an early boost if you don't have to.
Correct.
Because I've definitely been burnt in the time between round 6 and round 10 when you want to have all your boosts, so then you can do like shifty trades and offload 3 rookies and get 2 good primos because they're really cheap. And that's why I'm kind of thinking about what I do with Oliver, because currently everybody's playing in my team, barring Lindsay, of course. So I don't have to do the trades if I don't want to. I'm just not very happy with the selection, and I wanted him to go up in price, and that's not happened. So, yeah, I just got to figure out what I'm doing with the pick at the moment. If you've got injury trades, then great. I still stand by my idea, though. If you've got Young and Goulden and potentially a Heaney, you're kind of given... It's going to cost you a boost in 3 trades, but being able to drastically change your teams when so many of our teams already have the same forward line, close enough to the same back line, being able to drastically change stuff, I think it's really nice. Watkins for Cook. Oh, so you've got Watkins, you want Cook, cool. Lindsay for Fonte, but Instix is Philippou. Yeah. Keeping Philippou, Joe, or not keeping Philippou?
They're spending $1 million on this donkey. They have to play him.
It's pretty funny. He will be on my bench, though, this week. I'm going to go Robbo Lombard. I think it's going to be the pick for me.
You don't have Marshall?
No, I do. Marshall's in flex.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, Marshall flex. The thing with Philippou and Mashari, nice to meet you. I don't think I've seen you before. The thing with Philippou is he's going to go up in price this week. So this is a trade that you can do next week. If you want to go Lindsay for Fonte, fantastic. But Philippou's going to go up in price. So why not reassess it next week when he's like 180K and figure out, hey, what's happening? Maybe his trade is the thing that you need to do to be able to figure it out. But we've had times before as well where a rookie like Cook goes massive in round 1 and then either gets injured or gets dropped or has a bad game and scores like a 15. And then you've brought in this guy way too early. So I think Murdoch is a little bit different from that. But, yeah, I think at the moment it's a little bit rough to get rid of him so quickly. It is kind of my feeling a little bit in that case. Any point trading Lindsay to Dev Rob? Look, I think you need Dev Rob regardless. So if Lindsay somehow facilitates that, then okay. But I would be getting Dev Rob. I'm surprised you didn't start him. To be honest, he was like an instant lock in everyone's teams, especially after how he played. So, yeah, as Tatum said, you need to get Dev Rob regardless. Like, right off the bat now, this guy's got a negative 59 break even. It's a lot. It is a lot. We could have teams after next week when the main price rises happen where they've gone up $1 million. Like, there is a lot of rookies that are going to go up with massive break evens. There's still a lot of good players with massive break evens. So we'll see. Hey guys, how you going? Frank, Sweet in, Blackiston out for Murdoch. Okay. Going early, but who knows what happens next week. Well, who does Essendon play next week, Joe? Is it us?
You. Yes.
Yeah. So I don't think the Blackiston out is the worst thing, especially if you're getting Murdoch and basically getting 180K. Blackiston plays Cherry next week. So he might.
What did Visentini score? Yeah, what did Visentini score? You can look at what Visentini scored against Cherry and assume that's what Blackiston's going to score.
Yeah, so it might be like a 70.
Yeah,
not great.
not good enough.
He
Not
only
good
scored
enough.
62 against Sherry Joe.
Yeah, no, not good enough.
It's
Not
not
good
great.
enough.
Yeah, it's not great. So we always kind of said, hey, Essendon's got a really tough early run with rucks. He's been let off a little bit, you'd think. But yeah, it's a bit tough. Games will slow down a lot in the next few weeks. Coaches start figuring out the new rules. Yep. And it was funny with the Hawks Swans game. I don't know if you caught the game, Joe, but there were a couple of times where Hawks players were trying to handball the ball out, and then other players had to come in and basically scoop it up so it didn't end up being a free kick against them. So it was pretty funny. Blues Bagger, do you think keeping Philippou on bench and Dev Rob on field is better? Because Robertson, yes. And that's why I'm not against going Leo Lombard either, because I think Leo Lombard's going to be great. Only scored the 55, didn't have the best game, but he's playing another team that he can beat up on. So maybe that changes things. And the MCG is a bit of a bigger ground too than I think, maybe talking shit, but bigger than the game that the ground that they've got up in Gold Coast. So it might offer a bit more of his running capacity. Not going to sit on my hands this week. Didn't have Goulden. Yeah, Aussie Broad. Done it. But I need to bring in Murdoch and or Cook. Not sure who to drop. I would wait next week. Obviously, hopefully that's what you're trying to do. Rosas, I think he's not done, but I think that low score that he got yesterday, the 43 has somewhat cemented his death in a lot of people's teams. So Cook to him, him to Cook nets you some money. I do agree, though, Murdoch and Cook are probably the number one and number two. If I had to do it in my team, I'm not sure how I'm going to get Murdoch in, but Cook out 100%. Sorry, no, Cook in, Murdoch in. It might be Philippou out, depending on how he goes. It could be Carroll. It could be Doveston if he has another poor game. Unfortunately, being a little bit more of that elevated price does mean that there is some fat to cull on him. So it could be him, potentially. I'm just waiting to see kind of what's up.
I'm going through a tunnel now.
That's all right. 1 to 3 weeks is a low-grade hammy. Yep, there you go. How long is Young going to be out for? Well, there you go. That's what he's saying, yeah. Jew? Yeah, that's what he's saying there. So 1 to 3 weeks, potentially. I would err on the side of caution saying it is 3 weeks instead of 1 week because of just his injury history. The coach could easily come out and say, oh, he's great, but we want to give him a run through because last time we made him play AFL, he got injured straight away. So, yeah. Josh Lindsay stiff getting dropped. Yeah, it seems like Liam Baker's come in and basically said, hey, no more kickouts for him or Marek. But we'll wait and see. I think he'll be back sooner rather than later. Should I trade Colby or wait 1 more week? Bit of an interesting question. I think he was on managed minutes just because of him basically playing no preseason. So he's gone through this week in training. He's done everything fine, no problems. There are a few downgrade options around his price to, let's pretend, like a Houston. If you've got, Houston's less. So you could go downgrade to a Houston and make some money. If you've got 30K, a Josh Worrell potentially could be a trade to go up around his kind of similar price. So I would set yourself up, and this is something that I was saying about if you don't have any dead players in your team or players you're really upset about, what I would do would try and get yourself in a position where you can say, okay, I need to grab a Murdoch or a Cook this week. So next week, I can grab one of them. I don't have to spend a boost, and I give myself a luxury trade now. That's the position that I would be getting myself in. So that's what I would suggest that maybe you need to do. Wait a week on Colby McKercher. He's playing West Coast. Historically, North's done very well against them. Last week was a bad week. He could easily come out with a 110, potentially. But the downgrade options that are there for you, you don't know if you want to get them or not. So you're not forcing the trade at the moment. You could go down to a Murdoch if you wanted to, but you're not necessarily forcing the trade. So maybe that's kind of the way to go. I personally would get rid of Gallup. I think I don't know why you picked Gallup to begin with. Maybe it was a George trade and you copied him. But yeah, I would get rid of Gallup 100%. Rather than getting rid of a primo like Sarong, I'm getting Houston. Look, I don't like bringing in players that aren't going to give you any scores. And I think Sarong is going to be around the mark, even if even if Sarong. So we're that early into the season that I think you can take advantage of Sarong's bad, supposed bad scoring, right? Yes, Sarong did score really not great in round one, outside of his massive last quarter. But Geelong have a really tough midfield when two of their players tag. And for 3/4 of the game, Sarong could have been tagged. And he still made a 70. So last quarter was humongous. But 30-24 is 54. So he still made 70 points being tagged. I don't think Sarong is a bad pick. And if we look at, so I always check out Footy Wire. Let's pull up Caleb Sarong just because I can have a look at his historically scoring in Supercoach. This is a guy that's averaged 111, 115, 105, and then the 150 now. I don't think he's a bad pick. Caleb Sarong, grab him now at 570K. He could easily be your M8 for the entire season. Their run for midfielders coming up is decent. And I think that we're going to be put in a situation where, cool, he's averaging 110 for the next 8 or so weeks. Your team's almost done. Get rid of him. I still think he can be top 12 midfield. We've only got 8. Your M8, M9 type of position. I think you're going to be fine. If you want to go Sarong, go for him. I'm not a fan of bringing in guys early. Cop Sarong's 48. It might not even be in your best 18 scores this week, Daniel. Remember, it's only 18 playing. So I think go for the player because Sarong could go massive this week. Yeah, that's kind of my feelings a little bit. And Freo have no early buy, which is fantastic for them. Thoughts on holding a McKercher? I mean, I just talked about McKercher. If he doesn't do well sideways, yeah. Blackiston to Fontier luxury trade. Look, I'd probably call it a correction trade. I know that Joe's very influential and has been very hyped on the Blackiston. But I think just getting double teamed and the fact that he's got so many nasty, it's twofold, right? He's got a lot of really tough rucks coming up, and Essendon's ruck line isn't that. So Essendon's midfield's not that great. So the hitouts he's getting aren't really going to be advantage all the time anyway. So I'm okay if you want to downgrade to a Fonty, cool. In a couple of weeks, he could be very close to 400K, and then it's him plus a rookie up to a primo. So I think that's going to offer something. Yes, you've spent 3 trades to fill 1 spot on your team, but a lot of the rookies that we've got now have really low break-evens. So I think we're going to be okay with 1 up, 1 downs as long as you've got all the good ones. Kind of my thoughts. Thoughts on Goulden down to Milan. Murdoch save the cash next week. I've seen a lot of people do this. A lot of people do this. This was my thinking with potentially getting rid of an Oliver as well. I'm somewhat considering just holding Oliver at the moment. In 2 weeks, go Carroll and Oliver to a primo. Don't hate me. But I think you can definitely downgrade Goulden down because it's going to give you 400K, and you can splash for a couple of really good midfielders in a couple of weeks. You can fill out some of your backline in really quick time to be able to do it because our midfield went from no good midfield rookies to now Jagger Smith, Blamires potentially being there. Now Milan Murdoch, as you've said, going to go massive. So, yeah, I don't mind it. It's just a different way to play. Stephen, but I don't mind it. Thoughts on Rochelle? I don't mind him, but if we check out how it is, they do have Rankin back this week, and that was the biggest consideration for me, was what's going to happen with Rankin in the team. I don't think his scoring, let me just quickly check, was that impressive.
The beauty about the Adelaide players is that you get to have a look at them tonight. You get to look at them tonight. How do they play?
Again.
Does the role stick for Millera, or is it really Worrell? Was last week just a flash in the pan? How does Rochelle go with Rankin back in the side? Does he just get shunted more forward? Tonight's a very, very Supercoach relevant night for us to watch.
Yeah.
And you're not forced into making a decision now because the Adelaide boys are not on the bubble. The Doggies boys are on the bubble because they played opening round. That's why I'm getting English now before he goes up in price. But the Adelaide guys, you don't have to trade them in because come next week, they'll still be the same price. So get the extra bit of data, guys.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair way to go. Especially with a lot of our forward rookies being very, very good. I wouldn't bring him into your team. If you've got him, hold him. Next week, if you have to do some pivot trades, okay. I think even just with his break even, though, like what's... like he's only 369k. His break even's still decent, so I don't I don't hate it. Tossing up between Miller, Worrell, and Rankin. Miller could have a nice little upside. As Joe said, Jason, I would wait until next week before we make those decisions. Wait until next week when we have 2 games sample size. It will only be Rankin's first game back, but there's been so many times, and a lot of people here on the other side are saying, "Hey, what happens with Sarong? What happens with Sarong? Sarong's going to be there." And Sarong only scored 80 points in the last quarter. We've never seen Miller pop out at 140 before. So we really just need to see from Adelaide versus a real competition in the Dogs what actually happens. The only problem with this game on Thursday, Joe, is I'm going to be so upset not owning Bont, not owning Dawson. I've got Richards. I hope Richards goes well. Otherwise, I won't have anyone to cheer for in the game tonight. So it's not great. Friday night, big call. Wizard got Sarong. I told you, Mark. I told you. Small forwards, bro. Don't do it. It's a trap. And that could be Lockie Doverston getting his wake up his papers to say, "See you later, mate," in my team. But we'll just wait and see for that. Do I keep Sarong's score or trust that Lindsay will make more? Well, Lindsay's not going to play, Mark. Lindsay's been dropped. So you have to keep Sarong's score regardless. But it is best 18. So hopefully a score of 54 isn't... Oh, no, he didn't even score 54. Hopefully a score of 48 is not in your best... Like your best run. So I think you'll be fine. Had a feeling about Lindsay. Got the Hawks in a margin last night. There you go. Lindsay drop. I hate... Yeah. Well, that means it's 21 days to stop. All right. Unfortunately, I think Young is just going to be one of those guys who's... But yeah, and that's why I'm really hesitant on a George Wardlaw, for example, a guy who has had concussion but also leg injury troubles. I think that's why we're not pushing a Braden George, who could be a fantastic AFL player, has the body for it, but we're not pushing him to get AFL ready as quick as we can. These type of players just need a lot of time. Maybe he's got to go play a preseason or a season or half a season somewhere else in the VFL and just get his body right, because right now it's kind of make or break for some of these guys, especially when they've gone out and had the Qatar trip and then coming back. Unfortunately, I think Hayden Young's got himself a bit of a nice contract and a contract length. So maybe Freo's hamstrung themselves into... I did it again. Maybe they've hamstrung themselves into a bad position, but yeah, it's not great. Pace of the game is going to cause a lot more injuries. So holding on to trades is the key, but also not bringing in injury-prone players as definitely as well. Hugh Bond maybe a laid out, according to Michael. We'll wait and see. Keeping Cogs to trade him to Neil next week. Nice. I mean, I could do the same thing with Oliver, hoping he drops a a 95 or something, a little bit, not terrible, and then offload him as well. So far, Goulden went to Jackson. Cool. Thinking Blackiston to Murdoch. And then next week, get Blamires in and Marshall if Blamires a must-have. Okay. I like it, Nightfall. Very nice. Very, very nice. Especially with some people saying that, McAndrew may not be number one or may not be by himself for a little while. So we'll see. My team is actually falling apart after week 1. I miss Super. Mate, I would be so happy with my team if I didn't have Oliver. And let's pretend no Oliver, Walsh to Parrish, and Oliver became like Luke Jackson or Bontempelli. Bro, I'd be happy. Tips for tonight, we went the doggies. Crows at home. Yep, there you go. Should I order chicken katsu curry or chicken ramen for dinner? Well, we've got one ramen and one katsu easily. Joe, chicken curry or chicken ramen? Which one would you have?
Whichever one you feel like having more.
Oh, that's a cop-out. You can't say that.
Well, of course I can. I'm not that person, and they're both pretty different.
You can't say, whichever one you feel like. Like, that's the biggest. It's like buying someone a gift voucher for their birthday and saying, hey, I don't have an opinion on what I want to get you. Here's some money so you can pick it yourself. What a cop-out, Joe.
It's a cop-out because I don't know, man. I don't know. It's like tonight's tip. It's a freaking flip of the coin. Like, I don't know. What should people be ordering? Look, if it was me, I'd be ordering the ramen.
Okay, well, there you go. Cheese says, that's a cop-out, Joe. I hope you feel ashamed of yourself. Michael says, I'll have the chicken. So there you go. At least Michael.
I feel I want to be a lot less opinionated because apparently I'm very influential and I'm getting people to be making wrong decisions. So maybe I should hold back on the opinions more, huh?
It continued with not Bontempelli, Max Gorn a couple of years ago, and now it's pick Blackiston. Now it's you make a decision. I don't want to influence your stuff. So there you go. I think with my team. Next week, look, I've got all the good playing rookies. This is not a very fun position, but I've never done this before, and I always run out of trades at certain points throughout the season. So, Joe, I have decided I'm not going to make trades this week. There you go. I'm keeping Oliver, boys. If I die on my
By the way, which would you prefer, the cuts, chicken, or the ramen?
Ramen's nice, but I'd rather go the curry. Personally, I haven't had chicken curry for a while, so I feel like a little bit of chicken curry. See how we go. Not very exciting team changes in my teams, fellas. But it will be get Operation Oliver to Bont as soon as I can. So I know. Who are you and what have you done with the real Big J? Oh, mate, it is every feeling in my body says spend all your trades, get the best players in, be excited. Like, I don't know. I've got 22 green dots, 30 green dots, 1 orange dot, and yeah. I didn't go mid prices too much, barring Tanner Bruin. So I'm not like in a bad position, and Buderick as well, of course, but I'm not in a terrible position. I can get Cook and Murdoch next week, and now we have 2 Joe's heads. So we'll figure out which one is the Joe. I think it's this one. And yeah, I think I might just hold this week. Maybe I'll score 2,200 again. We'll see what happens, but. Yeah, I might hold. It is Operation Get Oliver to Bont in 2 weeks, though. So I'm going to be banking as much cash as I can over that period of time. We'll see how we go.
Well done. I approve.
Yeah, it feels dirty, Joe. It feels like, hey, don't do that. But if I can get Bont at M6 in a couple of weeks, I think I'll be okay. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how we go. If it all crashes and burns, you guys will have the content. So there you go.
It's best 18, bro. There's no crashing and burning in best 18.
I know, but I mean, I was 300 points away from the guys last week, so yeah, that's all right. We'll be good. To trade 2 mid prices in Visitini and Young to Carroll and Sarong. Already have Murdoch, can't afford Cook. I think Carroll is going to be a must-have. I reckon he's going to be one of those sneaky players. Now that Stock has been named, we don't actually know what the Carroll role is going to be. Well, that took a little bit to get him out. What the Carroll role will be, but he has actually been named on field, which I think is pretty cool. So I reckon we can actually keep Jack Carroll for a little while, potentially, or at least until round 6. And because he has 2 price rises, he could very easily get to over 200K or get to around that kind of price somewhat quickly. So I reckon he might be one of those guys we've got to chuck into our team. I don't mind it. I really don't mind it. Young has to go because of the injury. Vicentini has to go because he's dropped. So you're getting 2 guys that are playing, one that doesn't have any buys to begin with. Yeah, I like it, Stephen. Really good. Most nervous by Sharp in those mid rookies. Yeah, definitely. But I think he'll be okay. He might be a bit of a slow burn. It was his first game of AFL, and he still kicked 2 goals. So I think he'll end up playing a little bit more mid-time as they go. He has been named over like a Farrow and things like that. So they obviously like him and think that he's ready for AFL. So I think at some point they're going to be like, cool, we'll just keep it going. Maybe he'll need to be rested early, especially with the Bombers getting belted. Well, imagine if the Bombers actually win a game this year, and then it's like, hey, what does he end up scoring? You know, he's only had 1 game sample size, and I think who did they play last week?
We played against the Hawks, and this guy he's the most ready-made player from the draft. The guy has been playing 2 years in the Sandful. You know, like he's got the reason why we drafted him is because you know what you're going to get. He's one of those safe 200 game players for their careers. He's not a sexy pick by any stretch of the imagination, but for all of 2025 and 2024, this guy was being touted as the number 1 pick in that he was playing regularly in the Sandful against grown men. He actually looks really good to my eye. The only problem he didn't score very much was because he's just so good overhead that he can play as a half forward. And hopefully the idea is that we start to give him some more time in the midfield. And it could be that we decide, no.
Yep. Joe has become a robot again, everybody. What's your thoughts on Roberts to Miller? I like his role. 8 kick-ins. Phil Roberts is... I would wait 100% baggers to see what we see next week. So this week, hold. Then next week, trade. Hold this week. Next week, trade. That's it. I think that's the safe way to go. Roberts could be okay. Miller, I don't think he's going to get the lion's share all the time, and I don't think he's going to score 145 all the time. If we're forced to do the trade next week, all right, but neither of them are going to go up in price right at the moment. So, yeah, I think he'll be fine. Hopefully Cash Gen doesn't stall too much, so you can jump on those early fallen primos, 2 of which come to mind in round 5. Cool. Michael, who are you looking at? Let me know. The beautiful thing about my team versus some others, I guess, is I've gone fairly deep, plus a couple of others. So there's not as many midfield primos to fill out. Like, get a couple of defenders, okay. Get a couple of forwards, okay. but it's not as bad as I've seen some people that have gone really mid-pricer heavy. We just need cash gen to keep coming, and I hope. The beautiful thing as well is like we're getting not Tanner Bruin, Jagger Smith, really high break even, so really low break even. Guys like Dev Rob, the same. Guys like Murdoch, the same. Blamise is decent enough. Guys like Cook being decent enough. In the past, in this kind of situation, we've had too many Sarongs, too many Selwoods, too many of Lindsay types, things like that. So it's always just jumping on the best 18 players as much as we can. So not best 18, best 23 players as much as we can. Yeah. Guys, Joe is happy to do a watch along tonight. We've got 117 people watching. Joe is very much happy to do one. Can you just let us know in the chat? We need about 10, at least 10 people to say, yep, I want to watch. It'll be on the YouTube channel, of course. And Joe will do a live watch along for that. So, yeah, if you guys can do that, just let us know. That would be amazing, please. Because Joe, it's going to be a good game to watch, I think. And lots of Supercoach relevant players in today's game too. Yeah. Sharp's dad needs to have a few stern talks. I agree. Who to bring in for Blackiston? Ethan? Yeah, $100 off makes it a little bit tricky. I don't know if I can actually search. Can I search this way? Oh, yeah, cool. Sort by. So if I go defenders. And we'll just do it this way. Alrighty. If you had to get someone for Blackiston. Lucky Blackiston, $295. Joe Fonte's a little bit too expensive. And this is what I was saying before, Ethan, about when we make our starting teams, we try and make sure we've at least got 10K so we can do a couple of pivots if we have to. If I was forced, gun to my head, having to pick someone, let's go and do that. Preferably rookie downgrade if you can. If you've got some cheeky DPP, it may be the time to do that. But we'll wait and see. There's no reason why you have to trade him out this week if you can't get to Fonte either. There may be a rookie or someone else who presents themselves in our teams. I've heard some things as well that potentially Mitch Edwards has actually, his first game, let's just have a quick look. Opening round, Mitch Edwards. Did he play opening round? Maybe I'm mistaken. Okay, maybe he only played round one. But Mitch Edwards being a ruckman potentially opens up you to be able to move Zach Kozensky to the back line and go for Blackiston if you have to, is what I was kind of touching on. But let's have a bit of a squeeze. Gun to my head, I think Caleb Windsor will be okay. What is his break even? 38. We could get something good out of him this week. Yeah, there's not a lot of named players, is there? You know what I would do? If you can't get Fonte, right? Hand on your heart, can't get Fonte, okay. I would hold the week and see if Caleb Windsor is the man that you need to downgrade to. Because the guy did all right in his game for Melbourne last week. If we quickly pull up round one, he only scored a 70, but in the first, what did he score? So 86% disposal efficiency. Caleb Windsor only went 80%. Cool. Had some negative scaling there. Gave away 2 free kicks. So if he didn't do that as poorly, he would have got a bigger score. And played a lot of forward/mid forward. So they're using him to push the ball into the forward line. 21 disposals, no kick-ins. Okay, handball to kick ratio. Yeah, so this game, did he not do anything in the first quarter? Who were they playing? Hawthorn. Yeah, so the stats, I think, were a bit scuffed because of a lot of stuff happening. So, yeah, I would think maybe he's a good enough target, or we'll see if there's a way for you to kind of facilitate something else. So, yeah, I would enjoy doing that. I think that will be okay for you, Ethan. We'll see. Sharp's there. There you go. Pass for me, picking up, go away. Cool. No worries. Have fun, mate. Great game to do it. A few people saying yes, Joe, for you. Good luck, everyone, this week. May all your captains score 150s. Well, I don't want that to happen because then if that happens, then we all end up having the same scores in Supercoach. So, yeah. Blackiston as well may be a really good downgrade target or upgrade target for some of your cheaper mid prices too. Considering he's about 280k, you can somehow facilitate like 170k, then you can potentially grab like a Dan Houston or Miller if he comes around or someone around that kind of price. So it's a little bit of a different. Kearney Cox, nice to see you, mate. I'll watch. There you go. Lindsay dead. Yeah, I think he gets more games early. And hey, on Ricky. One thing I did kind of show as well, if he doesn't get games early, you're going to do this again for me. If he doesn't get games early, up until, so bye rounds up until round 5, Sunday, Saturday afternoon, Sunday game, so like say late Saturday game. So he's literally the perfect loophole. Yeah. So it's either gets games early after being dropped this week and then going to get slaughtered, hopefully against North Melbourne, and then is basically the best loophole. And defensive rookies are not the greatest, so I think we're okay. I think you're fine. If you have to, downgrade him to Kalani White with Zach Walensky in the midfield, in the ruck line, and you make 30k. Not saying to do it, but if you're desperate, okay. Does Bo Allen become more interesting with the Marek and Lindsay dropped? Yeah. Someone actually mentioned that. I can't remember who it was, but said, hey, Bo Allen may actually be somewhat of a pick. That's not the game I want. I want round 1. So yours there. Did Allen not play? Oh, yeah, Bo Allen 70. So I think he's actually... He's not terrible. Went at 100%, 78% time on ground. He did get 4 frees though, so it's something to watch. I assume that's right, unless I'm reading it wrong. I assume the first one is how many he gave away. The second one is how many he got. So he did get 4 frees, which probably doesn't happen every time of the week. But yeah, it could be a very good pick for us next week. How much is Allen? Bo Allen 152. So definitely someone to watch. Has a decent enough -13 break even. So if you've got 30k, maybe Bo Allen becomes our downgrade target next week for Lindsay. We'll see. Hawks, you guys picking picked Hawks, Mark. There you go. Hey, Big J. How you going, Jack? Currently have Blackiston to Milan via Grill. Cool. Shall I not trade this week and give Blackiston a chance? Look, Port only named 1 ruckman. It was Jordan Sweet, which is cool. Okay. But he does play Cherry next. He does play quite a lot of really tough ruckman. So if you can go him to Milan, it frees up having to get Milan next week for you. And then you can actually have a really, you've got a lot of money to play with. So I would say go Milan if you can. If that helps. And that's the benefit of having Grill in the midfield compared to having him in the back line like I currently have. Caleb Windsor was lucky to play last week. He copped a huge corky. Well, there you go. So maybe he comes back and actually does really well and provides a nice downgrade target for a lot of people. Thanks, Adamo. Feel like it's going to be a rookie roulette with West Coast again this year. They'll want to maybe get a dozen games into all of them. Yeah, potentially. I thought it might be a bit more of a case of, okay, it's the guys that start that typically and historically say rookies that play round 1 or opening round historically in Supercoach have a much better scoring potential than the ones that come in round 4, 5, 6, 7, just because it does feel like they are going to, like, the other ones get dropped. Whereas if you're ready to go at the start of the season, you'll play for a majority of the season. So that's why like a Lindsay or a Dev Rob, for example, will be better selections than a Schellenberg. Lindsay did play round 1, so we don't know what's on the back end. If someone can find out if he's just sick, because sometimes players just get the flu or have gastro or something and they don't want to play. Like, it could be as easy as that, and they just mark it off as omitted on the sheet. It's definitely happened with training before and stuff like that. So we'll wait and see. They could get slaughtered in the back line and be like, cool, okay, we'll figure it out. Well, yeah. At the very least, he is a very fantastic loophole, which means I don't have to have R3 loophole. I can stack the back line, have a couple of really good rookies, and then have a decent loophole for it for the whole season. How good, Joe? There you go. Caleb wins a play. Oh, sorry, we did that one already. Jack, if Blackerson goes 90 plus, I'll be filthy. But against Sweet, I doubt it. So it's Vicentino. Vicentini's been dropped, mate. If we check out the team sheets for the game, team lineups, round 2, your boy Vicentini has been omitted. He's in the bin. So, yeah, he's not playing. It is going to be Jordan Sweet versus Blackiston for the championship. Don't know what championship. I just made that up. But, yeah. Yeah. That's how it works. Yeah, Carl went into the whole preseason with Dante and then dropped him after one game. Yeah, it's tough, man. When you're these type of kids, maybe he showed up late to training. Maybe they're trying to figure out what they're going to do. I think Tristan Cherry definitely showed a different way to play against the ruck rules, which was basically just don't be a ruckman, just be another midfielder. So maybe they're thinking Jordan Sweet can be that. You don't know how sore Dante Vicentini pulled up as well, because all they've got is him. And if we have a look at their scores from last week, they did get smashed. So I think there's some forced trades and changes that needed to happen. But it really is like Vicentini, who only scored 60. Like, they only had one player that scored over 100. Good old North Melbourne. Like, how often does this happen? And I think like Whitlock or Ollie Lord. Ugh. I thought Whitlock might be doing some ruck time, but I guess Ollie Lord did as well. So, yeah, it's was a little bit interesting. Hey, it's your boy Chabby Joe. There you go. Jesus, rip off anyone if picked Dante. Yeah. Skodfather almost did it as well. I was a little bit wary of going the insanely cheap ruck because, like, if they were super cheap, so we had Briggs, right? Briggs' mature body a couple of years ago did really well. Things like that, where I feel like going too cheap in the ruck line hurts when they both haven't done it historically. Like, you could, there's a train of thought, okay, Ned Reeves, main number one ruck at Hawthorn, if he was, you go him and a McAndrew and you're okay. But to go both of them, it's really tough. I don't think both of them picked them as the main ruck, though. For some reason, I feel like SDS might have put him at flex. DR picked him in the ruck, like in the flex line or R3. So we'll see what they do with their teams, but it's a forced trade out. And at 300K, but Vicentini to Fonte is pretty good. Might trade in Sweet. I wouldn't touch it. Vicentini could be back next week. Very, very easy. He's a bit of a flog, I've heard. My old man managed Hinkley for 7 years. Okay. There you Bond, guys. Bond is a late confirmed out. If anyone here has Bond, Hugh Bond from the Eagles. I wonder if there's if it's updated on the sheet. Yeah, Hugh Bond illness. Chase Jones is in, and then Toby Murray's been managed, of course. So, yeah, there you go. Wonder if Cook plays more halfback. Well, we can check and see if they've updated the team sheets. Miller, Rory Laird, Nick Murray. Yeah. Am I looking? Braden Cook. Yeah, could be. One to watch for the actual game, I think. Cook is meant to be the next Zorko. Look, there's only one Dane Zorko, let's be honest. But Cook's kicking and his ability to pinpoint targets across the field is very, very good. Like top notch. I've seen, at least in the practice game, I'll watch it properly tonight, but at least in the practice game, there were some times where he was in the back 50 and he was kicking to the forward 50. And it was just like on the chest, that's it. What do you guys think of Cornelio and Ashcroft to Bond and Marshall, who I didn't start? Look, Joel, it is not the worst trade in the world. The only thing that would say to me don't pick it is you already having too many round 3 players. In my team, I can't get Bontin. Let's have a look. I can't get Bontin because my round 3 already has 1, 2, 3, 4 primos. For me, that's enough. Yeah? For me, that's enough. But if you don't have a Richards, if you don't have an Anderson, if you've gone and picked other players, it is not the worst trade in the world. So do it if you want to do it, but it is not the worst trade in the world. And I think Bontempelli is going to be great to watch. I'm going to try my best to facilitate getting him post-buy if I can. Yeah, I think he's a really good selection, and you should have him. Get him now versus later. Cogs has a B of 0. Yeah, I guess so. But he wants Bontempelli, and he needs a way to facilitate Marshall into the team, who could end up being a better selection than Bontempelli. So I don't know. I don't hate it. No lost faith. There you go. Shall we wait one more week? Yeah, I think Murdoch is a number 1 that you need potentially in this week. I'm hamstringing myself a little bit, but restricting myself to only getting Murdoch and Cook next week, I think. Unless I'm boosting because Jordan Clark gives me the shits, but we'll see what happens. And then, figuring out what I'm doing from there. So Cook next week, Murdoch this week, if you can, and then kind of go from there. Would you consider a Walsh on his buy to go to a Jackson Cherry? No early buys. Walsh had a high disposals, but did not have. Yeah. If you had the money, Jay, if you had the money and you didn't have to do a second trade, or if your second trade was get like a Murdoch in and your midfield was perfect and Sam Walsh was like your only bad player, I could see a world where it happens. I'm not necessarily happy with Walsh either, and will look to trade him at some point. I just didn't like the way that he played in the game, and he still did early bombs and was doing stupid stuff. So if I had 70K to go Walsh to Jackson this week, it may be a trade that I look to do. Yeah, I don't hate it. We may find ourselves if McAndrew stops being solo ruck, that we have to get him in, or figure out a way to make that happen. So yeah, if that ends up being Sam Walsh, okay. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. I have Cook, but I'd even wait another week on him. Jack had an extreme likelihood to go 40. Yeah, and that's why I'm a little bit wary. I think we'll all need him, but he's the one with the up and down level of scoring. I mean, we haven't seen Murdoch play either, to be fair, but I think Cook could be that kind of guy, up and down. I've I've got a Darcy. Okay. Cogs is guaranteed money, I guess. Yeah. Cook or Murdoch this week. Go Murdoch. We just need to see what Cook's kind of role is, how he goes. That 92, I think, was a bit scuffed, whereas Murdoch's like a waffle gun. And there's a lot of mouths to feed at Adelaide, and some people knocking down the doors, I think, for his position. So we'll see what's up. I have bench cover for Pooh. Lombard on the bench. Is Cook mid forward? Yes, Cook is DPP mid forward. No sideways on Primos this year, but Geordie Clark, yes. Especially with Dan Houston and a few people available in that back line who have much better averages than Jordan Clark for cheaper prices. It pisses me off so much. It's just the fact that he got relegated. So if we have a look at the average, 3-round average at the moment, Jordan Clark is all the way down the bottom. Like, it's redemption week for Jordan Clark in my team in the back line, but there's so many players that are cheaper that offer more for me than Jordan Clark that it just makes me sad that I've still got Jordan Clark. Like, if Jordan Clark has a bad week, I may be tempted next week to go Josh Worrell for some cash if Jordan Clark has a bad week. We'll see what happens, but I may be tempted. I might spend a boost on getting rid of Jordan Clark, so the following week I can get Bontempelli for Oliver. Like, that call me crazy, but that might be something that I legitimately do so I can get Bontempelli round 4. Like, I may be forced to it if he drops another 160 and I hate my team. But Jordan Clark to Worrell gives me 70K. I'll have some downgrade money from Cook and Murdoch. It could happen, boys and girls. So, yeah, we'll wait and see as to what happens and how this week goes. But we'll see. He's on very much thin ice. I think he'll be okay. He'll probably end up being around that mark. But from memory, he's always been kind of 500K. And the fact that we started him at 550, yeah, we'll see. I didn't even look at him. Yeah, for me too. Still put myself, upgraded Worrell to Clark and used that 85K on him, but is it? Yeah. Well, Worrell kind of came out of nowhere. At least for me, Worrell came out of nowhere. And there is kind of a bit of a consideration. What happens when Keane comes back? What happens? But Dan Houston, who was thinking, Clark to Houston, mate, I'll take the 120K. Hell yeah. Spend a boost for 120K. I can get Bontempelli round 4. Woohoo! Finish off my midfield in like 2 weeks. Say less, mate. So, yeah, I think that could be a very good consideration as well. Didn't pick Clark. Oh, how you going, Initiator, mate? How you going? Didn't pick Clark for money. You picked him for results. No, you know why I picked Clark? I picked Clark because I wanted to go guns and rookies in my team. And looking at who was available in the back line, I didn't want Naz because I thought Naz was going to drop in price. I already had Rosie and Sinclair, and this position was really shit for me to try and find another player. That was the reason why I picked Clark. I had a look at the defenders. I didn't want Tom Stewart. I didn't want Dane Zorko because of the early buy. I was just looking at it, and it was just like, hey, what happens? But if Clark has another shit game, if he comes out of this game with another sub 100, mate, Dan Houston to Clark plus a downgrade somewhere else to Murdoch and Cook gives me Bontempelli in round 4. So it could work out really well. We'll see. Or in round 4, if we're forced to bring in another ruckman because McAndrew is no longer solo ruck, we'll see if that happens too. Just playing around with ideas. Initiator, you missed it. I potentially am not going any trades this week. I just need to figure out if I'm going to get Murdoch or not, but at least all of my rookies this week are making money. So I may just hold. Mark, I've got Blackiston, no free kicks. Okay. Mark, you do you. Was hot on Worrell all preseason. Keane is 10 weeks away plus the time. And yeah, and that's the thing too. I just need another game of sample size from him. Last week, I think, was a bit rough. Miller went massive, which I don't think's ever happened before. And Worrell went like a 65-point first quarter. So I just kind of need to see what's up before I do that. I could just go Clark to Sarong. Yeah. Aren't we going to trade him? There you go. There you go. I wonder if Joe, are you coming back or are you not? Are you done, guy? The game is in 40 minutes. Happy to have a chat if you guys have any questions about anything that's going on for that 40 minutes. But just wanted to give you a little bit of a nice show, and I'll be back in 2 minutes, guys.
Coach tabs on my phone at dawn, scrolling through the carnage, what went wrong? Grammar soul is steady, rookies on the rise, mid-prices tempting me, danger in disguise. Big J calling from the couch, mate, check your side. Joe bragging about a loophole, riding that tide, we're trading in our hopes like stocks on a screen, chasing that price rise, living the dream. We're the center bounds crew, hey. Whistle blows, we're riding it through. From goals and behinds to the last upgrade, greatest game in the world, that's how we're made. From a pig in the guts to the bench from a blues, every week we're breaking the rules, they fell in our veins, yeah, it's all we do. We're the center bounds crew. Oh, yeah. Got duds on the park, can't win a hard ball, need a downgrade, target, answer that call. Possessions piling up, my captain's on fire. Vice loop lightning, sparks through the wire. Trade plan scribbled on the back of a bill. One more sideways move, I swear I'll sit still. But the siren hits Friday, logic is gone. Mate, just push and go on. Who you backing in? Who you backing in? Who you backing in? Yeah. Who you letting go? One more risky move, then we steal the show. We're the center bounds crew. Hey! Whistle blows, we're riding it through. From goals and behinds to the last upgrade, greatest game in the world, that's how we're made. From a pig in the guts to the bench from a blues, every week we're breaking the rules, they fell in our veins, yeah, it's all we do. We're the center bounds crew. We're the center bounds crew. Oh yeah, the center bounds crew. The center bounds crew. The center bounds crew.
Love that for everybody. Just checking out what's happening in the footy world at the moment. And did I jump off? Yes. Yeah, I have. Not that I don't like Fonte. I think he'll be fantastic. It's a hard watch to not have in my team. But just sticking with the guns and rookies at the moment, Bontempelli will be able to come into my team at some point very early in the season. And I just didn't feel like spending 3 trades on a single position in my team when, with a lot of guns and rookies, I may have to facilitate some funky trades. So we'll see how that goes. I've done what Big J has never done, and that is to potentially not trade at all in round 1. So, or at least not for a while. So we'll see how that goes. A few people here complaining about travel and the war. On other new non-Supercoach news, my flights to Brisbane, which I booked months ago, to Doha. Jeez, mate. Have been cancelled with the war. Yeah, I think I was very lucky. I went off to Africa a few years ago, and yeah, we kind of avoided everything. But a lot of people going to Europe and stuff yeah, it's rough, man. It's rough. Cheese. Mate, you did not have to do this at all, but thank you very much for the 5 gifted memberships. It gifted Joe a membership. Now Joe's a member of the Super Coach. Joe's a member. There you go, Joe. long-time fan of the channel. But thank you very much, mate. Thank you very much. And, that's 5 extra people who can jump on and chat with us on Tuesdays. And, just love the support there. Thank you very much. Clark has Melbourne and Richmond at home next 2 games. Happy days. There you go. Cheese, what a guy. Sticker pack coming. Oh, there you go, Joe. Done. Cheese, you're very gracious human. Thank you very much, mate. Thank you very much. Is anyone going? So I'm going to put this out there. Is anyone going to the Essendon versus North Melbourne game next week? Joe cannot make it. I'm trying to see if I can come or not. But I'm just wondering if there's a few of you. I know Mark's going to be there. Is anyone else going to the game? Let me know. Before a Don's premiership. Oh, there you go. Good to see you supporting the channel. There we go. Yeah, so no trades for me this week. It feels wrong. I have to tell you guys, it really does feel wrong not doing any trades this week. But it is what it is. I might finish up in about 10 minutes, guys. So if anyone has any further questions about players or stuff to have a look at or whatever's going on, let me know. I'm happy to jump through and do some research on players and things like that. Jackson Archer, for you North Melbourne fans out there, has signed a new deal. He looks like he'll be playing until 2028. So North Melbourne's always been great with, hey, someone's had an ACL or an injury, things like that, to keep them as long as we need to. Let me quickly check. Initiator sent me a message. Fair enough. Bit of solo Grundy action. We'll see what I still got 35 minutes, Jay. I know, but I just need people to chat. If people want to say hello, if someone wants me to check out their team, talk some Supercoach, talk some footy, talk life. I'm pretty good at talking life at the moment. But if I'm talking to myself, there you go. Brilliant. I'll see you there. Woody, done. Love it. Interestingly, Gibcus signed until 2029, but got dropped this week. There you go. I'm talking a trade. Cool. Done. You know what? I'm going to do something. We're going to do something we've never done on a Friday. It maybe will never happen again. I'll only do it for about 2 or 3 minutes for every person if you want to. But I'm happy to open it up. If you guys want to jump on and say hello, actually, maybe we'll keep it for next week. But we'll see how we go. Keeping Clark. Yes, this week I'll be keeping Clark. It burns my heart to keep him, but he did have a good first 3 quarters. And he plays Melbourne at home. And I just want to see what's up with some of these round 2 players. So I need to make a decision on a Worrell or a Miller, things like that, before I say, hey, Clark needs to go. But there are some very, very good downgrade options for Clark. Yeah, there are some very, very good downgrade options for Clark next week. And Clark down to a Houston, for example, allows me to go Oliver up to Bond after next week. So, yeah, we'll see what's up. Blue Iris, thank you very much, mate. Give me some stuff to do. Leagues. Centre bounce league. What number are you? Actually, it won't matter. Can I search? Maybe I can't search. What's your team number? Titans rule. I'm happy to search people up, guys. If you just give me your team name or at least your team ranking, because then I can just look at like 33 or look at 44 or whatever it is, then I can check out your teams. That's not an issue. Goulden and Pickett to Fonty and Bonty. Why not? It rhymes. Debating going Sarong or Callahan instead of Bont still. For me, Initiator, it would just be how many round 3 players you've got, really. Sarong's got a pretty good early run after, in a couple of weeks. But yeah, I would be really just considering what your buy structure's like. Callahan should be fantastic, especially with the next couple of games at home. He is a super pod. I mean, Bont is as well, but he is a bit of a super pod at the moment. So, yeah, just have to figure it out. Mark, chuck in your team number 2 if you can. Team 275. Let's have a look. Sorry, it's going to take me a little while to get up. I can't actually search for some reason, which is hilarious, but we'll get there. Michael, are people seeing Miller or Worrell as keepers? If so, just be mindful of the round 12 buys, 100%. So Houston might be a better option if we already have too many round 5 primos. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what Houston's going to be like anyway. It is quite a while away, but at the very least, Worrell is going to make us some pretty decent money. So if it's Worrell to someone else later on who doesn't have round 12, as long as you're not spending too many trades to finish your team, it potentially could be okay. All right. The Team Titans. Where am I looking? 275. Unless I'm looking at something different than what you're looking at. Can't see your team here, mate. Flying Dutchman, Junior's Juggernauts, Dad's Army, Xander's. Maybe some other people have joined since you refreshed. Chuck it to me on Twitter. I'm happy to have a look at it. Mark 211. See, even this, unless I'm looking at something different than what you guys are, like this is the total score by rank total score. It's showing me something different. View league rank 211 because I'm there. Sorry, fellas. IRS. F. I wonder if that's going to go. Nah, it's not going to let me do it that way either. Sorry, fellas. Might have to keep this up for another day. Yeah, let's figure out this another day. I'll get through some more questions for you. Saves everyone just waiting for me to figure out not how to work it out. Big J, should I go this week between Cook and Murdoch? I would go Murdoch 100%. Cook's role is a little bit up in the air. I don't know if the 90 is viable. For me, at least, and it might be the same for you, Kev. The way I might get Cook into my team being a little bit more expensive is by like a Carroll or via a Doveston or something like that. These guys that are a little bit more expensive. So I'm waiting for them. Like Doveston won't make cash, but you understand the philosophy, right? St Kilda players like Philippou, Carroll may turn into Cook, whereas I think you could probably offload a Doveston to a Murdoch if you can facilitate the trade now. So it is something to kind of just consider, but I think it may end up being better for you in the long run. And I personally might go Doveston to Murdoch right now. I just need to work out what's going to happen with my team at the moment, because I want Murdoch's score if I've got him in my team. And that would potentially mean moving one of these guys, but we'll just see. Do I still work at Alfred? No, I haven't worked there since COVID. Or since COVID finished, so like 2023. Fine with 4 primos, round 3. Yep, cool, done. Yeah, because I have Richards anyway. So, and Buderick has, like everyone's got Buderick anyway, so it's fine. Sent about song is going to get stuck in my head. There you go. Are you looking at Reeves or L McDonald? I think you mean Logan McDonald. My brother, funnily enough, actually had Logan McDonald in his team. My only problem with Logan McDonald is he's already got one price rise now because Supercoach will open and he'll probably end up being like $250K. And our forward line is so stacked with really good rookies that it's almost hard for me to put him into my team. Like it's really stacked, like really stacked. So yeah, I think we're going to be a bit struggling a little bit to say, okay, I don't want a Philippou, I don't want a Doverstern, I don't want a Robbo or a Marshall or a Lombard or a Buderick. Like, he does look fantastic, though. That's the thing. He's been kicking goals and looking great, and somehow managed to get to like 88 last night. Let me pull up the game. Somehow managed to get to like 89 last night and kick 3 goals. 100% disposal efficiency. So maybe he's someone that we slept on. He could get to 400K. We'll see. It's really him versus Buderick race at the moment, I think. I know, right? Going to pivot trading in Carroll this week and taking the price rise. Yeah, we'll see. I just hope he's not dropped, but I don't think so. Glad you stated which. Thought you meant the Roos. Thought I'd see your name and remember it. Okay, Mark. This is the one we're going to look at, guys, because I need to go at 7:20. We're going to go quickly check out the league. Check out Mark's team. Mark is currently losing to me, but that's okay. 199. There you go, guys. This is Mark's team. I don't know if he's made any changes this week. Sinclair, Rosie, Bergman. Okay, Bergman's definitely one you need to watch, Mark. If he doesn't score well this week, it is gone. Gone Bergman. Bergman's in the bin. Like, straight up. Excuse me. Last week, his role wasn't great. And we have a Worrell. We have Houston if you want to go to Houston. We have a Miller if you want to go to Miller next week. We just need to see what happens. Backline rookies are okay. No Selwood. You've gone Zakalinski instead. Fair enough. Butters, Dacos, Richards, Goulden. Well, Goulden needs to go. So obviously you've done the trade there. Walsh, Parrish, Tenebrew. So I like the midfield. It's just Goulden has to get traded. Sharp, Blamires, Murdoch. And then English, McAndrew, Edwards, cool. And then, yeah. If I had this team at the start of the round, right, and I was not convinced on what Blackiston would do, there's 2 things that I could do with this team. You don't have Anderson, which is cool. I would either look at going, who could you bring in? You need to bring someone in for Blackiston, and you potentially need to get rid of Toby Murray as well. So I don't want to say, hey, force a boost, but Toby Murray's not playing. So who are you missing? If you've got some money left over, Mark, Todd Marshall is one that you need in your forward line. He scored 90 last week, and he missed out on like the last 5 minutes due to an ankle as well. But he's playing incept defender taking kickouts for Port Adelaide. So he's someone that you need. Goulden needs to go. If I wanted to spend a boost with a team like this, it would be Goulden, Murray, Blackiston out potentially, grabbing like a big primo, and then a couple of rookies would maybe the ticket. You've already got Murdoch. Could grab one of the St Kilda boys like a Carroll, who hopefully will hold his spot for 2 weeks. And then you'd get some nice cash injection and upgrade in your team while you're getting a big primo. I think that may be the way to go a little bit with your side. But yeah, otherwise you're not doing too bad. If you don't want a Bontempelli, though I think he's fantastic, maybe worth grabbing another ruckman like a Luke Jackson or Tristan Cherry, but I think a Luke Jackson would be great for you. So yeah, that's it for me. Guys, it has been fantastic chatting with everybody. Hopefully you guys have loved the stream. Sorry about that. Hopefully you guys have loved the stream. We like making content. We love it. Joe will be on. The game's at 7:40, so Joe will be on probably 7:35. I assume he's just eating some dinner for the live stream tonight. So make sure that you guys can jump on for that. If you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe. We love kind of the interactions and things like that. And you guys just don't know what it kind of does on the back end for us. So if you've subscribed already, just smash that like button if you can. Cheese, thank you very much again for the 5 memberships. You didn't have to do that, but thanks for the appreciation and the love there. And yeah, we'll see you guys later. If you miss out on the live stream today, Sunday night, I've endeavored to put out team review every week. Make sure that happens. Currently, I'm doing no trades, but I don't think I'll do any rookie upgrade trades. So I don't think I'll do any primo upgrade trades. I'm still a bit iffy on. I don't want to spend any boosts next week, but if I want to change out Clark for someone else, if I'm forced to, if he drops a 50 this week, I may be forced to drop Clark. And I want to get Cook and I want to get Murdoch. So I may have to go early on a Doveston out for Murdoch. We'll see. It gives me a little bit of money, which is cool. I like money. And then, we'll figure out the rest of the team from there. If not, I'll just spend 2 trades for the first 2 weeks. And then I'll have a bunch of money and then, start to upgrade. Bontempelli, I think, is my first selection this week. It will be Oliver de Bontempelli as soon as I can, because I think he's still got a fantastic early run. We'll kind of facilitate it from there. Just waiting for the rest of the rookies to appreciate. And if I survive 1 more week of Oliver, okay. If I'm forced to pick Oliver for 2 more weeks, okay. I'm not happy about it, but okay. But we'll see what's up. All right. See you guys later. Have a great day. Enjoy the content. This will be the last day of the old subscribe button because now we've got 5 more members. So stay tuned for that. You'll be squinting like this to see all your names. But have a great day, guys. Catch you later. See you next week. And I'll see you on Monday. If you need anything, shoot me a message on Twitter. Shoot me a message on YouTube. Not YouTube. Facebook chat if you want to as well. Joe and I regularly check that. Have a good one and go Roos.